these MPs already feel disenfranchised with number 10. These people in cabinet are not their friends. They feel like they're being talked down to by colleagues who've been in the parliamentary party for longer. They feel like things that they were promised after the last election have not come to fruition. And so, Downing Street is really pulling every lever that it's got to try and hold on to these people. And that perhaps means, either meeting them personally or using any person that they think they can get some leverage over.
And I wonder how much this was a consequence of there not being that initial bonding in the first few months of this Parliament. Of course, these MPs got in December 2019, only had a month or two before social distancing was in, before stay-at-home orders were decreed, and the sort of normal socialising, mixing, meeting, getting involved in the parliamentary system didn't happen with this intake in the same way that it has happened in previous decades.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, the people that they know best in politics, the only people they really knew in politics until quite recently, were the other MPs who were elected at the same time as them. These MPs have got a lot in common with each other. They come from, they represent similar areas. A lot of them former Labour areas that have slightly different constituency profiles to other Conservative seats. And they're all sort of coming into Westminster and experiencing politics for the first time together. So it's no surprise, perhaps, that they've become a sort of bloc. It has been pointed out that it's a bit unusual to have an intake of MPs act so homogeneously as one bloc. Ordinarily, you would expect a new intake of MPs to not be particularly mouthy for the first term or so as they get their feet under the desk, earn the respect of the government and the Prime Minister. These ones have actually been pretty rebellious, and they tend to think in similar ways. And I think you're right. I think part of that is because the bond that they formed with the politicians first in Westminster was not with more senior MPs who took them under their wing, but with each other.
And I suppose this WhatsApp diplomacy that we saw first grow up around the time of the referendum has only become deeper within British politics. I wonder to what extent something so simple as the main Conservative MP's WhatsApp group having a participant limit within WhatsApp, meaning that not all of the Conservative MPs can be within it, so that there are subgroups and potentially factions that born off the back of that. But potentially that is breeding a less harmonious sense within the Conservative Party.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose in one sense the Conservative Party doesn't really need an excuse to break into factions, does it? But perhaps WhatsApp provides them with it. Speaking to one MP this morning, hearing that the number of MPs sort of being sent out to bat for Boris Johnson in these WhatsApp groups is dwindling. Nadine Dorries, the Culture Secretary, is a big Boris Johnson loyalist. She's been putting messages of support for the PM in there. Some of the other people who would often go out and bat for Boris Johnson have been remarkably quiet, and I'm told that it's actually really junior members of the government, some of the more loyal 2019 intake, people that still back Boris Johnson, they're the ones who are going out and supporting him. So perhaps there's a feeling from others in the cabinet that the ship has slightly sailed and backing the PM is no longer the right thing to do.